Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Chris Mulkey here, in for Brittany Van Voorhees, and we got a lot to talk about. It's an active weekend. However, weekend warriors, this morning, this afternoon does not seem all that bad. Now, once you get to the evening, we're expecting widespread rain. We'll get to all this, but here's the best way that I can sum up this weekend in 4 words. So, in other words, this is a rain event. Most of the area will see just rain. There will be little to no snow to fall, and this is for the Charlotte area. More snow, of course, will fall for the mountains that are under a winter storm warning. And it gets windy tonight. I'm talking about wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour, and Sunday is just cold. We're expecting high temperatures mainly in the lower 40s, but near 40 is where most of us are going to be sitting. So, as I mentioned, this is a rain event because this is an overall warmer system. So you're seeing the rain down to the south. It's a lot more widespread the further southwest that you go. And look at all that. You're even seeing some yellows pop up. So this isn't just a light rain that's going to happen for several hours. This is a moderate, at times heavy rain that's going to start this evening and continue into tomorrow morning. Now, it's technically going to come in two different pulses. So pulse number one is going to be along a low pressure system. That brings widespread rain. But then the secondary system, that's an upper level low, that's mixing in some colder air, and that's really going to be the big snow chance on the western side of the Carolinas. So low pressure number one is tonight into tomorrow morning. Number two is really going to affect the afternoon, and then that's where you're going to have the chance for snow. Not everywhere, mainly in the mountains, but even a little bit of wet snowflakes, or as we like to call white rain, can happen around the Charlotte area, and that's mainly, again, areas off towards the north. So quick lesson. Whenever you have an upper level low, what that does is it brings a lot of colder air down. So that means less than a mile up, it's snowing. So oftentimes, even if you're up to 40 degrees, you can still have those wet snowflakes, but then it's called white rain because it's still too warm at the surface that as soon as it hits the ground, it melts away. Maybe it accumulates on an elevated surface that might be a little bit cooler, but we're mainly in the 40s. That's why I don't think Charlotte and areas down the south are really going to see much of this. But some areas, say Statesville, Lincolnton, you might have a better profile. But if we're talking about Avery, Watauga, and Ashe County, yeah, it's going to snow. We have a winter storm warning. So that officially starts at midnight and it goes until the following midnight. I think that might be expired early as the snow finally gets out of here. But just keep advised, it's also a winter weather advisory for the lower part of the mountains in Caldwell and Burke County. So here's one model's look at what you can expect for snow. Burke and Caldwell, I think, could see up to an inch of snow. Alexander County, we can see that. Let's call it a dusting to a coating. If we're looking at the big three, the mountainous counties I mentioned, Avery, Ashe, and Watauga, I think you see a range of anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of snow that could come with this system. So here's our updated snow map. You can see a little bit closer detail. Still keeping Boone in that 2 to 4, but I would not be surprised if some of that's going to be melting beforehand because it's mixing in with snow. But when the snow is actually coming down, I think it's going to be some really big flakes, be pretty wet as well. And that might pile up pretty quickly. So some of that slushy snow that's coming along with the system. And by the way, we're really lucky that we have this temperature profile because Charlotte would have a different story if we were 10 degrees colder. This could be a historic snowstorm. Instead, Charlotte, your chances for snow are minute. How much you could see? 0 inches, most likely. A trace is a possibility. How long will it last? Mere minutes, maybe even less than a minute. And when could that happen? Well, the afternoon. So there is the chance. There's always the chance. But it's going to be certain pockets that some of your friends are going to be reporting that tomorrow afternoon, all of a sudden, hey, where did the burst of snow come from? It'll look pretty. It'll be great. And then it'll change back over to rain. All right, so here it is. Rain first is arriving later on this afternoon, heading into the evening. So notice the time frame that we have here. By the smack dab middle of the evening, it's raining. It's widespread. Lots and lots and lots of rain is going to be coming down. I think we're easily picking up 1 to 1.5 inches of rain before the sun even rises up tomorrow. Notice this is our super Futurecast, as I'm calling it. It's going to show you your wind gusts, your rain chances, and your temperatures. Temperatures are huge for tomorrow. Since we're mainly in the 40s, this is mainly going to be a rain event. Even for the mountains, you're seeing a little bit of pink up there. That pink is representing that rain snow. But notice some reds here on the radar. At times, it's really going to be coming down. And with wind gusts, as high as they're getting 30 to 40 miles per hour, some uproot trees, down trees is not out of the realm of possibility. So this is round one. Notice what happens once we get to about 7 o'clock in the morning. there's a little bit of dry air, this dry slot that's going to take away the rain, still happening really along the I-40 corridor. But then you have that snow. This is that secondary low that I was mentioning. That's for the mountains. That's for the foothills. It's actually coming down. That rain quickly changes over to snow. But notice a couple of pockets trying to meander their way off towards the east as the system is exiting to the northeast. This is kind of cool. You're seeing some around Iredell County. You're seeing some in Lincoln County, Catawba County. That's that little snow. It's right there. Charlotte is so close. You're so close to that potential for the quick changeover. Again, that's just cold enough above our heads that we're seeing physical snowflakes mixing in with the rain. So there's going to be a possibility, I would say, Charlotte in the middle of the afternoon to the evening, the back end of the system. That's pretty much your only chance. That would be just us saying, hey, you saw snow. But for us to finally have a measurable snowfall in Charlotte, we have to have it at the airport. The airport might be too far south for this to happen. So it's a big wait and see, not a major event there, mainly just a lot of rain and kind of a gross day. Rain in the 40s is not great. Rain in the 40s with wind gusts to 20 to 30 during the afternoon, that's horrid. So most of the rain that we see is going to arrive tonight, tomorrow. I think we see a range of 1 to 2 inches for most of the area. Some areas a little less, some areas a little bit close to that 2-inch extreme. So this is still a big time weather system, but luckily we're not seeing the opposite, that oftentimes a lot of cold air will sink in behind it. So you can see our rain chances today, tonight, tomorrow. That time frame is your best chance for rain all week. But then Thursday ending into Friday, we're still going to have that potential. So keep that in mind. And I'll try to backtrack. Hold on. Let me get this other graphic. There we go. I wanted to show you your 10-day temperature trend. Notice how much of an anomaly Sunday is. We have 43 degrees, 43 degrees, and then we're right back to the 60s, 70s, and even the cool down after that secondary front just brings us down into the 50s. So this is not where we should be. This is a big exception, but that's pretty much it. So, okay. So let's answer some questions that we have here. We got Pizza Man 226, like it. I would love some pizza today. I'm going to get snow along the I-40 corridor. I think it depends where you live. If you're I-40 Burke County, you have a better chance for hours of snow. I think it's still less than an inch. If you're, say, I-40 Iredell County, that's going to be maybe that rain that briefly changes over to snow. Luke Scarberry, the first one to comment today. Hi, Luke. You said it's 50 degrees to your house. I think that's one of the biggest shocks that people had this morning when you walk outside. It's actually really nice. It's warm. It feels great. That's amazing. And it's going to be at least an overall warmer day. If we get some sunshine today, we're talking about 60s. But since we're overcast, we're stuck in the mid 50s, right where we should be. Brian says morning. I say morning right back to you. And then where was the low track around Christmas time, right? Well, Christmas was interesting. Christmas, if we had this moisture matchup with that low track, yeah, we were cold enough. It's just that we kind of had two lows that separate around the area. We just got the colder air that went along with it. So yeah, Christmas could have been historic if we had just got the moisture along with it. Meanwhile, this system, we have the moisture, but then we don't have the colder air necessarily. And if we didn't have this upper level low, Brian, the second one that comes through, I don't even think we really see much snow with this at all, because that's what really cools us down. By the way, Pizza Man 226 says that it wants to be a weatherman too in Catawba County. Well, that's awesome. Since I was 5-6 years old, I've wanted to do this whole weather thing. So follow your dreams, Pizza Man 226, and that's how I'm going to end it. Any other questions you have for me? Really, for the rest of the day, it's looking pretty good. I like it. We're dry most of the day. Just note that if you have any evening plans, I personally am going to be inside my house, get my grocery shopping, dog walking done beforehand. Because once we get to the evening, once it starts raining, it's not going to stop for several hours. And then the winds pick up. It's just not good. But luckily, by the time we're talking about Super Bowl 57, most of the rain, the snow is going to be gone. Well, take care, everybody. I appreciate you. It's good to be here. I'm going to be back in for Brittany again tomorrow. Love these live streams and love all of you. Take care and make it a great weekend.